Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. I'm actually in a healthier condition now that I actually got to quit vaping and smoking cigarettes, so that's a plus. Other than that, I'm going to be starting another mini-series where I'll talk briefly about essentially every time that I've been kicked out or ran away from my mom's house after she simply found out that I was smoking, and more about what I did when I was out there trying to figure out my living situation. I used to run away before that too, just to have some freedom, since I was pretty much new to hanging out with friends without asking my parents. They've always been very strict on that. It never really got bad until my mom found out about me smoking, and that sure as hell made a difference in the house, even though I was already going through domestic issues in that same house way back. Of course, I'm almost 20 and I have my own place with a roommate now, so I don't have to deal with any of that shit anymore, but it really shows how young I was when I first started dealing with this shit. Before we get into this, please make sure to give this video a like, subscribe to my channel if you're new to my content. Don't forget to click on the notification bell to be notified whenever I upload. Share this video to anybody that's ever been kicked out of their crib. And let's play the homeless chronology in 2017 and 18. First time that I've ever been homeless was just a few days before Thanksgiving in 2017, almost 4 years ago at this point. I ran away from home because my mom found out that I was getting some pretty shitty grades from school once again, right after she found out that I smoked anything for the first time ever. I was already going through some extreme lengths to avoid my parents because of everything that's happened since '06, but that was the first time I did end up really being on bad terms with my parents and being homeless overnight without having a set plan to do something or have somewhere to go in the first place. I was gone for 6 days. I spent the first day hanging out with some friends after school, riding around town doing dumb teenager shit until I found a place to stay over Thanksgiving break. I remember when I came back to school for the first time as a runaway once the break was over and I got that pass to my assistant principal's office. I got confronted by her and a police officer about leaving the house in a drug-related situation. My mom told them about the weed. If you want to tune into the whole story, I'll be linking each video that talks about any of the topics in this video. But basically, the assistant principal and cop just talked me into going back home. My mom basically just gave me the talk, but that doesn't really mean anything. Things would only escalate over the years. The second time I was homeless was when I ran away from home again for pretty much the same reason as before, bad grades. My mom got another report card for me Valentine's Day morning, as I guess part of evidence of me not really wanting to try with everything going on and just took it more personally than the last time. Then again, I was caught smoking weed on school grounds like a few weeks beforehand, so that didn't help. We argued and I ended up leaving with a friend. Kinda stupid, but maybe it would have been better to let my mom cool down without me in the picture sometimes, you know. I was actually gone for another 7 days. I spent the first 3 days skipping school to hang out with some random people at a hotel. The next 3 days on a President's Day weekend at the same crib from Thanksgiving of the previous year. And the last day hanging out with a friend after school just to have his dad find out I was a runaway and have the cops apprehend me, threaten me with charges, and embarrassing me in front of my parents in the process of bringing me back home. I'm glad I wasn't arrested that day, and I was only 15. A week and a half later in March, I was homeless for the third time. My mom actually kicked me out of the house after she saw the cocaine on my pants video that I made just a few days after I was brought back home from being apprehended by cops. It only took her less than a week to find out about the video being posted. Before, she used to just lock me out of the house, but this time and forward, she started kicking me out in person. The cocaine on my pants video was part of a 3-part series that I didn't even end up finishing until later in the summer, but she did not take the video lightly. In fact, she barely watched it. She just assumed that I had cocaine in my possession with intent to use because the word cocaine was in the YouTube video title. She also damaged the fuck out of a computer a buddy gave to me a while back trying to break it. It still worked until my mom threw it away a year later. After she kicked me out, I was gone for 11 days. I spent the first 4 days house hopping around town and walking to school or to someone else's bus stop in the cold weather. I didn't even remember who I stayed with at this time period. Spring break then came and I was able to go back to the same house from Thanksgiving once again for another week. My mom ended up finding me by using my brother's Snapchat account via SnapMap afterwards. I never let my brother see my location there ever since. Don't need them knowing where I live now. But the 11 days did come to an end when she basically convinced me to come back home in front of my friends just to ground me for the rest of spring break. Just over 2 weeks after I came back again, she kicked me out over the exact same reason. She came across the video a second time and confronting me about it after she already told me to take it down. The situation wasn't as serious as the last time, but she did still kick me out, and I had to find somebody to hang out with for the night in the cold weather. I was lucky to not only find that place to stay for that night, but be able to come back home the next morning, which just so happened to be April Fool's Day 2018. The fifth time I was homeless would take place another 3 weeks after that. I pretty much stole my mom's car's keys to go for a joyride, and she found out. I was gone for 2 days. Once again, I stayed at the house I stayed at for Thanksgiving 2017. At that point, it almost became a tradition. I did have to walk 5 miles all the way back home, and it was chilly, so that wasn't all too fun. That definitely taught me not to take my mom's car without permission again, though. Things were actually smooth again for a couple months until I crashed my first car. I actually just made a video talking about the whole thing, but yeah, I got a hand-me-down from my mom just to crash it a few days later and get into a scuffle with her uncle while he was in town. I was gone for 6 days. I spent the first 4 days hanging out with people and roughly house hopping again. Then the last 2 days came of me trying to live on my own, and that sucked. It was the first time I've ever slept outside and ran from the police. The cops ended up bringing me back home after the second night I slept by myself. They found me sleeping in a dugout by the high school, and that would ultimately be the last time in 2018 that I ran away or got kicked out. They didn't arrest me because I wasn't called in as a runaway at that time. So, in 2017 and 2018 combined, I spent a total of 33 nights being homeless, and I only spent 3 of those nights not having a place to stay. I think that's a lot of nights to be kicked out as a kid, and the fact that it's spread out. I know there's many people that have had it worse, but the truth is it's fucked up no matter what. I just felt like putting out stuff that's not worth keeping in my head, you know. Feel free to stay tuned into this mini-series. I was homeless longer in 2019 than in 2017 and 18 combined, so best believe the next video for this series will be longer. But anyways, thanks for watching the video. If you like this, please make sure to give this video a like, subscribe to my channel if you're new to my content, and don't forget to click on the notification bell to be notified whenever I upload. Share this video to anybody that's ever been homeless, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace out. Sauce.